What is up, my friends? Welcome into Flippin' Bats, where a lot is happening. My brother Justin Verlander has signed with the San Francisco Giants. We're going to talk about that. Gavin Lux traded to the Reds. Pete Alonso updates the drama happening in San Diego with the Padres and ownership there. But the big news of the last 24 hours, Justin has officially signed with the San Francisco Giants. A lot's happening out here in LA, by the way. One, these fires are insane. So thoughts to anyone that is dealing with this. They are where I sit and where I live, about 4 or 5 miles away. I mean, today it's literally raining down ash, and it's just there's no sun. It's just sitting in smoke, and you walk outside and you smell it. It's the real deal. And I'm not far from it, but seemingly going to be safe and okay. But seriously, it is it. I know everybody has probably seen and heard about it. It's bad. It's really bad. So thoughts to anybody dealing with that, and the firefighters dealing with that. The wind last night literally got up to like 80 plus miles an hour, which obviously doesn't help things. So thoughts to everybody there. Justin did end up signing last night. It is once again today, recording on Wednesday the 8th, which is, guess what? It's a great day for the Detroit Tigers to sign Alex Bregman. I'm going to keep saying it until it happens. I'm going to speak it into existence. We talked about it last show. It's the perfect fit. AJ Hinch there. Great relationship. Alex Bregman. They need a third baseman. They need a bat in that lineup to go with the pitching staff. I'm going to keep saying it. I tweet it every single day. Today is a great day for the Detroit Tigers to sign Alex Bregman. Speaking of the Detroit Tigers, they did not sign Justin. Justin Verlander is heading to the San Francisco Giants. The year 20 season. In just over a month, Justin will turn 42 years old. It will be his 20th season in Major League Baseball. And he's pulling a Randy Johnson and heading to San Francisco, not to end his career, because I still believe there's a good bit left in the tank, but in the latter part of his career heading to San Francisco. A deal that is surprising. I don't think heading into the offseason with, everything I know and thought that the San Francisco Giants would have been a play. And I think he would probably tell you that. But he does end up going there on a 1-year deal for $15 million. It's a deal. Let's start from a Giants perspective. It's a deal that makes a lot of sense for the Giants at this point in the offseason, right? They wanted Corbin Burnes. They were all in on Corbin Burnes. They didn't get that done. They then wanted Shane Bieber. They didn't get that done. So they've been looking for a starter, an established starter. And I'm not at this point in his career comparing Justin to Corbin Burnes, but it is a savvy vet in a rotation that needs one, right? Logan Webb, an absolute stud at the top of the rotation. Robbie Ray, former Cy Young Award winner, obviously former teammate of Justin's. What do you get from him? Can you get any semblance of what he was as a Cy Young Award winner? Jordan Hicks learning to become a starter. To add Justin into a rotation with those three guys obviously helps everyone. But potentially, the person or people Justin can most influence is one, Kyle Harrison, who I love. Potential co-ace type stuff out there in San Francisco. Just needs to improve his fastball and learn how to pitch off of his fastball, because he can be nasty. Who better to do that than, in my opinion, my biased opinion, but Justin. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's done it all. He came into the league throwing 103 miles an hour with nasty wipeout stuff. And then from there, as he got older and older, had to learn how to pitch and to pitch with it. He was throwing, and he was throwing better than anybody else in baseball. And he was a Hall of Famer as a thrower. And then right around the time he gets traded to Houston, he learns how to pitch, and he becomes a pitcher. He probably did that in Detroit. He'd probably be mad at me if he heard me say that. He probably learned how to pitch later on in Detroit. But when he went to Houston, he didn't have 103 in his back pocket anymore. By the way, still 100, but not the same. But he was pitching. He's a Hall of Famer as a pitcher. In my opinion, two different Hall of Fame careers. One as a thrower and one as a pitcher. That's what my brother brings to this team. Maybe not the exact same stuff anymore, but that mentality, that mindset, and what he brings to Kyle Harrison, who can be an ace of a staff type of guy. And another guy that really excites me is Hayden Birdsong. Nasty, electric stuff, but does have issues harnessing that stuff and reining it in and learning how to pitch with it. Justin can be huge for that. So, one, you're bringing Justin in on 1 year deal to help a rotation that one needs another arm. You're not bringing him in as a ace or a number two. You know, he's going to slot in as in that 3 to 4 spot in a rotation. You're bringing him to do that. You're also not signing a 42-year-old veteran on a 1 year deal just to help your rotation in terms of like mentality and helping other guys in the rotation. This is a win now deal. This isn't the end of things for the Giants. They're not signing a veteran on a 1 year deal to not win, to not go out and win. And I understand the NL West is a very difficult division. They're not the best team in the NL West. They're not a top 2 team in the NL West, right? You have the Dodgers and the Padres. They can compete with the Diamondbacks, but the Diamondbacks are going to be really good as well. So they slot in somewhere in that 3 or 4 range in the division, but they can absolutely, with the addition of Willy Adames, a new shortstop, going to hit you a bunch of homers. I know it's a tough park to hit homers in, which is good for Justin, but I love Willy Adames, former teammate of mine, played with Willie for a long time in the minor leagues, really became a really good friend of mine, and he's a really, really good dude. I love Willy Adames. I love the addition there, and I don't think they're done. So that's from a Giants perspective. They're going to win. They're going to try and win now. Again, you don't do this with this pitcher just to have him help your rotation. You're trying to win this year. From Justin's perspective, let me make this very, very clear, because everything I see out there is so short-sighted and narrow-minded and not looking anything past this last year. 2024 was absolutely a rough one for Justin. Right? Fastball velo dipped, ERA ballooned up to about a 5.455. But let's look at that year for what it was. Got hurt late in spring training, didn't start the year, slow start to the year, comes back into the rotation, really struggles to work his way back, starts throwing well, essentially during his spring training, right? And then gets hurt again and has a really weird freak neck injury, a bad neck injury, misses most of the year, then comes back probably, I don't know if he'd say this, but probably earlier than he should have and could have, because he wanted to help the team during a playoff push and wanted to pitch in October, but came back, struggled, and then his last start of the year was nasty, by the way. Throwing 97, good stuff. So was never able to get his feet under him in 2024 at any point. Every single time he came back was like his spring training and trying to catch up and then an injury and then the end of the season. But let's talk about 2023, just 1 year prior. Had a 3.22 ERA and 27 starts for the Mets and the Astros, and a tougher start to that year, and then really figured it out late in the year and pitched really well with the Astros. And then in 2022, his age 39 season, he won the Cy Young Award, his third ever Cy Young Award, and posted a 1.75 ERA. The best season ever for a pitcher that age. The best season ever for a pitcher that age coming off of Tommy John. Honestly, the best season ever for a pitcher coming off of Tommy John. That's not all that far removed. That's 40 years old, right? The year following that, he was really good. And then last year, a lot of injuries. Well, guess what? Justin is healthy. Justin feels great. Justin is ready to roll. I truly believe that everyone out there, including teams that weren't interested, but fans, teams not interested, are missing a big thing here. That last year, yes, I get he's getting old, and I get it's easy to say he's not the same. Everybody declines at some point. Father Time catches up with everyone. But last year, I don't think it's that. I think he was just never able to get his feet under him after all those injuries. And then his last start of the year, the stuff was there. Stuff looked great. And now this offseason, he feels really good. He's healthy. He's ready to roll. I don't just think this move for the Giants is a move to say, hey, we want him to help out this young rotation. We think he can be good at that. I think Justin can be a good pitcher this year. I think Justin can be a great pitcher this year. And anybody that doubts him, I said this ahead of the year that he was about to turn 40 and coming off of Tommy John surgery, the first in his life. I said, anybody that doubts Justin they're going to be proven wrong. And I really just think everyone's being short-minded here when it comes to Justin and this signing and yes, I get it. Baseball's a what have you done for me lately sport. And lately he wasn't good, right? I'm biased, but I can acknowledge in 2024 he wasn't good. I can also acknowledge that injuries played a massive part of that. And I think in 2025, and as we sit now in this offseason with him being healthy, stuff looking good, him being ready to roll, I think 2025 is going to be a good year. And I think Justin's going to have a damn good year for the San Francisco Giants. So I'm excited. As his brother, him heading into his 20th season, I could not be more excited. Seriously, I am so proud. I'm so proud of my brother for the career that he's put together, for the mentor that he's been to me and my career, both on the baseball field and playing with the Tigers, and now what I do now. I just could not be more proud of him for how he's handled his career, for how well he's done in his career, for how much he's meant to me and my careers. And now to get to root him on in his 20th year, to root on the Tigers and then the Astros and then the Mets and then the Astros and now the Giants. What an organization. I've forever said, one of my favorite stadiums. It's my top two. That and Petco go 1 and 2 for me, really neck and neck. But Oracle is just an unbelievable place. The organization, such a storied organization with such a rich history that the Verlander family has been a part of. So all I ask Giants fans is please no Pablo Sandoval jokes. I'm not ready. It still hurts. I'm not ready for that. The 3-homer game in the World Series, I'm not ready for the jokes, okay? But Justin Verlander is heading to the San Francisco Giants on a 1-year deal that is equal parts, in my opinion, the ability to him help a young rotation and the ability for him to slot in that 3-4 late in the rotation spot and be a good pitcher for the San Francisco Giants in 2025. And I could not be more excited. He's also going to be in the NL West. I live out here in Los Angeles, so a lot of games at Dodger Stadium, a lot of games at Petco. So I'm excited selfishly. I'm excited for him to be back out on the West Coast and to be playing a lot of ball games close to where I live. So Justin, to the Giants, the big news. Couple other things to touch on. Gavin Lux traded to the Cincinnati Reds. Now, last episode I did a list. My 5 most frustrating teams for not doing enough this offseason. And the Reds were at number 5 on that list. Really, all they had done is sign Terry Francona. They had a lot of work to do. And the more I sit on this, the more I think about this move, the more and more I like it for the Reds. Do they have a surplus of infielders? Absolutely. It's literally why you traded away Jonathan India and brought in Brady Singer, another move that did happen this offseason. I do like Singer for the rotation, right? You had a surplus of infielders, and you trade one away for some pitching depth. And then you sign Gavin Lux, an infielder. The more and more I think about it, the more I like this deal. I was really confused at first. The more I like it is because figure out offense and figure out where to play your defenders later. Does this mean Matt McClain moves to the outfield? Obviously a really good defender. Does this move mean Gavin Lux moves to the outfielder? He's already said he doesn't care where he plays. He just wants to help the team win. And I believe he can do that. This lineup desperately needed depth. But you look at it, and this is what makes me so excited for the Reds. I looked like an idiot last year because I was all in on the Reds. I'm going to look like an idiot again if they do it again because I'm all in on the Reds once again. But they dealt with so many injuries last year. If you were to tell me right around the time, it was right around this time, January, I was going all in on the Reds. The Reds are going to win the Central. The Reds are going to be really good. If you were to tell me when I was saying all that Matt McClain's going to get hurt and miss the year, and Christian Encarnacion Strand is going to miss most of the year or be injured for the whole time he was playing and then miss a lot of the year, and that Noelvi Marte was going to get suspended, I wouldn't have said what I did. But now you get all that back, and I sit here and I look at a lineup that's going to have Matt McClain and Ellie De La Cruz and Christian Encarnacion Strand and Noelvi Marte, and now you add in a Gavin Lux, who in the second half of last year in 210 plate appearances hit 304 with a 906 OPS, a 152 WRC plus, and he's a career at Great American Ballpark. Played a good bit of games there. 296 batting average with and a slug of 519. You add him into that lineup, and how do I not get excited all over again? Pair that with a rotation of Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Andrew Abbott, Brady Singer. Color me excited. I am excited about this. I'm excited about the Cincinnati Reds once again. I still think they could use a bat. I still think they could use an outfield bat and some more depth in that lineup. But the more and more I've sat on this, the more and more I like it for the Cincinnati Reds. They gave up Mike Sirota in return, not to be confused with Mike Soroka. They did give up Mike Sirota, who I could be a stud, 21-year-old out of Northeastern. Was slotted to be a top pick out of high school, ended up going to college, had a really good career there. Good numbers so far. Exciting numbers if you're the Dodgers to get in return. But once the Dodgers signed Kim, they really put themselves in a pickle in terms of infield and really lost a lot of leverage. So they trade away Gavin Lux to the Reds, who's only 27 years old. We've known the name for a while, but he's only 27 years old, has 2 cheap years of control left. I like this pickup a lot for the Reds. I really like it for the offense. It adds depth. Where does he play defensively? I don't know. He doesn't know, but it doesn't really matter. They needed the offense. They needed bad. And now I think this team is much, much improved. And I think they need another bat. But with Terry Francona at the helm, who in his first year, his first order of business everywhere he goes, does really well. First year with the Red Sox, World Series. First year with the Guardians, or he was with the Indians. First year with the Indians, takes them from a 68, upper 60s win team to a 90 win team. I mean, in his first year, he makes a massive difference. And I think he's going to do that with the Reds. I think they're going to be good. Call me crazy. I'm back all in on the Reds. I was a year early. And not even really. I got screwed with the injuries and the suspensions. They'll be good in 2025. Believe that, Cincinnati Reds. By the way, the Giants open up in Cincinnati. So I have my girlfriend who's from Cincinnati. I've been wanting to go to opening day in Cincinnati forever. It's a party. It's a literal party there. So I just spent Christmas in Cincinnati. So I got to figure out a way to get there. I got to figure out a way to make this happen. Cincinnati, opening day, where my girlfriend's from. My brother's going to be there. His first series with the Giants just feels like a no-brainer. Has to happen. Next up, let's talk Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso's still out there, big-time free agent, but there is some news when discussing him. Scott Boras came out that Scott Boras is using Prince Fielder and his deal with the Tigers as a comparison for Pete Alonso and what they're looking for. Now, let's take a step back. Pete Alonso in the 2023 season turned down a 7-year deal worth $158 million. That was when he was 28. He's now 30. So Pete Alonso is looking for a Prince Fielder type deal. Prince Fielder, when he was 28 years old, signed a 9-year deal with the Detroit Tigers for $214 million. Pete Alonso's 30. It just baffles me that that's the comparison. I don't even know what to say. That's just Scott Boras being ridiculous. You're, Prince Fielder was 28 years old and got 9 years, 214 million. You're looking for 9 years, 214 million for Pete Alonso? Well, that ain't going to happen. And even if that's a bit of hyperbole and you're not exactly looking for that, it's a terrible comparison. You're not getting that. What are we doing here? So Andy Martino, who covers the Mets very closely for SNY, came out and said it is truly a coin flip as to whether Pete Alonso will be a New York Met on opening day. And I mean, if that's the price tag, the Mets shouldn't sign him. I do think the Mets lineup needs him. I think they need another bat. Do they go get Anthony Santander? Do they get an Alex Bregman and move Vientos over to first base? Do they sign Pete Alonso? There are still a lot of options out there. The options that are out there, some teams work themselves into a pickle with what ended up out there. The Mets aren't yet one of those teams because really everything they could want for their lineup is still there. Do you add in Pete Alonso behind Juan Soto and Lindor and put him back at first base for the next few years? Do you sign Alex Bregman and move over Mark Vientos? Do you sign Anthony Santander and put him in the outfield? And there's your 40 plus homers. I don't know, but they still do have their options available. Pete Alonso has not yet signed as we sit on January 8th. We shall see what happens. But as Andy Martino said, it's a coin flip. At the beginning of the offseason, I would have said Pete Alonso is going to be with the Mets. He's going to sign with the Mets. But if the Mets wanted him all that bad, you would have signed him last year. You would have extended him. You would have extended him before that. He obviously didn't like the 7 years, $158 million offer. But not a lot in terms of last year. So we'll see what happens with Pete Alonso. Lastly today, let's talk about the Padres drama. I don't know if you guys saw all this happening, but the Padres are in the throes of some crazy, crazy drama. So their owner, Peter Seidler, sadly passed away recently. So what's ended up happening is essentially his brothers took over the team. Well, Sheil Seidler, the widow of Peter Seidler, has sued Peter's brothers over control of the team, what is rightfully hers. Now, there's a full 91-page lawsuit from her claiming fraud from the brothers, racism, breach of fiduciary duty, and more. The lawsuit even mentions that the brothers if the brothers getting control of the team and mentions relocating the Padres away from San Diego, it's a hot mess. Now, I did see, I believe in the lawsuit, there's a form or like a piece of paper where Peter Seidler wrote out like a top 10 names who he wants to take over the team when he passes away. And Sheil was at the very top of that. So the Padres are rightfully hers. And she is suing for that. It's a mess. The Padres are obviously deep in the throes of the Roki Sasaki situation. I don't know, man. If I'm Roki Sasaki and I see everything happening, how can it not make you take a step back and say, I don't know if I want that? What do you... You're hearing relocating. There's a hot mess going on with ownership and suing and fraud and racism and relocating. And it's a mess. What free agent is looking at San Diego right now and like chomping at the bit? They are a very good team. They are a World Series contender, but there's just a lot going on there. So we'll see what happens there. But Sheil Seidler is suing her late husband's brothers over control of the team. That's the update there. So a lot going on in the baseball world. Justin has signed with the Giants. Gavin Lux traded to the Reds. Pete Alonso still out there. Padres drama. Anthony Santander still out there. Roki Sasaki still out there, but he will not sign until January 15th. Between January 15th and January 23rd is when he will sign. A lot going on in the world. These fires out here are nuts. I'm also It's a little more chaotic behind me if you're watching, but I'm in the process of moving. I'm moving in with Elizabeth, which is great. So there's a lot going on in the world. But Flippin' Bats stays rolling on because it always keeps rolling. 2025, the year of Flippin' Bats. Been saying that since January 1st. 2025 is the year of Flippin' Bats. And today, my friends, is a great day for the Detroit Tigers to sign Alex Bregman. I love you all. Thank you all for listening and watching. As always, make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify. Hit that follow, subscribe button. It's free to do so. It really helps. Leave a 5-star review. That also really helps. You can also watch everything we do on our YouTube channel, Flippin' Bats Pod there. We're on all social media as well. But I love you guys. I love the Flippin' Bats community. Big year ahead, both for Flippin' Bats, for baseball. This sport is taking off right now, guys, and I could not be more pumped. But until next time, my friends, remember, find your bat and flip it. Peace.